Good morning. Today is September 10th. It's 9 a.m. I'm Eric Blank, and this is the Commissioners' weekly meeting. Commissioner Gilman, any preliminary remarks? Are you ready to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Good morning. I would vote to approve the consent agenda.
As would I. Proceeding number 25F0243TO. Mr. Foreman, Mr. Riley,
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
we can.
Wyatt Foreman of your Commission Council. Before you today is a decision whether to construe the exception to decision number R25-0561 as an application for rehearing, reargument, or reconsideration, or RRR, and whether to grant or deny the RRR. For quick background, this proceeding began with complainant Charlene Potter filing a formal complaint against respondent towing carrier Fred's Towing LLC on May 27th, 2025. The complaint alleged a dispute regarding the amount complainant was charged for retrieval of their property from the vehicle, which was in respondent's possession as a result of a law enforcement ordered tow, and detailed the complainant's difficulty in retrieving their belongings. The complaint requested an interim order preventing the respondent from declaring complainant's vehicle abandoned and disposing of the vehicle. On June 18th, 2025, the Commission referred the proceeding to an administrative law judge by minute entry, and the ALJ held a pre-hearing conference on July 15th. During the pre-hearing conference, the parties reached an oral agreement to settle the dispute by July 18th, and the ALJ requested the parties make a filing by July 21st, indicating whether the conditions of the agreement had been satisfied, and explaining that if the agreement was fulfilled, the ALJ would vacate the evidentiary hearing scheduled for August 11th. On the 21st, respondent made a filing stating the conditions of the agreement were satisfied. Then, on July 24th, complainant filed a document into the proceeding titled Supplemental State of Compliance Issues, in which they alleged further allegations that the respondent had violated Commission rules and that the property stored in the vehicle had been damaged while in respondent's possession. On July 30th, the ALJ issued the recommended decision, which vacated the evidentiary hearing and dismissed the complaint without prejudice. Pursuant to Section 40-6-109, subsection 2, the recommended decision then became a decision of the Commission on August 19th, 2025, 20 days after issuance. On August 20th, 2025, one day after the exceptions deadline had run, complainant filed a letter titled Exception to Decision Number R25-0561, requesting additional relief related to respondent's failure to comply with Commission rule changes regarding property retrieval fees, and that while the complainant confirms they were able to retrieve the towed vehicle and their belongings, they allege respondent's actions resulted in property damage to complainant's belongings. The complainant therefore requests the Commission make a formal finding that respondent's conduct was in violation of applicable rules and direct respondent to fully or partially refund the $480 paid by the complainant to retrieve the towed motor vehicle on July 18th. As an initial matter, because the complainant's letter was filed after the exceptions deadline, counsel and advisors recommend the Commission, in its discretion, construe the letter as a timely application for RRR. Regarding the substance of the RRR, counsel and advisors recommend denying the application because, as the recommended decision noted, the parties reached an agreement to settle the dispute at the heart of the complaint during the pre-hearing conference, and the conditions of that agreement were fulfilled. Moreover, complainant's RRR primarily concerns damage to personal property, and the Commission does not have jurisdiction over damages that may occur to a towed motor vehicle in the possession of a towing carrier, regardless of the conduct or behavior of the towing carrier. Such damages are more appropriately addressed through external remedies, such as the filing of an insurance claim or civil court action. For those reasons, counsel and advisors recommend the Commission deny the application for RRR, but note in the decision that the complainant may pursue damages in another forum, or because the recommended decision dismissed the complaint without prejudice, the complainant may file a separate complaint. And I can pause here for a discussion or vote on whether to construe the filing as a RRR and whether to grant or deny the RRR.
Commissioner Gilman.
Thanks, Mr. Foreman. I appreciate it. I agree with each of your recommendations.
As do I, and that can be an ABC decision. Mr. Foreman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kirkland, annual state 911 report to the legislature.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Jennifer Kirkland for Commission staff. The item before you today is a draft of an annual report required by Title 40, Article 2, Section 131 of the Colorado Revised Statutes, which directs the Commission to publish and transmit to the members of the General Assembly a State of 911 report by September 15th of each year. This is the 8th edition of this report. The statute states that in developing this report each year, the commissions shall consult with public safety answering points, 911 governing bodies, and statewide organizations that represent public safety agencies. As in previous years, commission staff has engaged with interested members of the local 911 stakeholder community via the commission's 911 Advisory Task Force to help with the updating of the report. Additionally, a draft of the report was provided to several statewide public safety associations for their input, all of which are listed in the appendix of the report. While statute requires that the commission provide this report to the legislature, and it is therefore the commission's report to provide, it is also a collaborative document that represents the input of all the individuals and organizations which have chosen to participate in the development process. The report is 48 pages long, and as such, it is difficult to summarize succinctly, but some of the main themes of the report include a description of the work that has been accomplished in the deployment of next-gen 911 technology and systems in the state, as well as a discussion of the work yet to be completed, the fact that the commission completed a rulemaking defining core and optional BES services and the reimbursement of such, that the commission completed a rulemaking following passage of House Bill 24-1234, House Bill 24-1336, and Senate Bill 24-139 to incorporate into commission rules requirements of those bills, that staff facilitated the newly created 911 Services Enterprise Board activities for the year, the fact that Colorado is in a small minority of states that have no minimum operational or training standards for 911 centers, and that there is a growing concern with regards to the customer service or lack thereof that CenturyLink is providing to 911 governing bodies and PSAPs in its unregulated activities. Additionally, the report makes 3 primary recommendations for the legislature: to take notice of the customer service concerns at CenturyLink and the commission to provide an update in next year's report, to monitor the Colorado Training Standards Institute's efforts to incorporate voluntary minimum training standards into practice throughout the state, and to monitor the activity of PSAPs, governing bodies, and the 911 Services Enterprise regarding cybersecurity to ensure that sufficient resources are made available in this area. Beyond these main points and recommendations, the statute requiring this report specifically directs that 7 topic areas be addressed, each of which are covered thoroughly in the report. The commission should also be aware that there is a requirement that the commission present this report verbally to the Senate Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, or its successor committee, and the House of Representatives Committee on Business Affairs and Labor, or its successor committee, on or before February 1st of each year. What we need today is a vote to either approve or not approve the report for release to the legislature, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Goman.
Thanks, Ms. Kirkland. Well, first of all, very much appreciate the report, and I would, I don't know if you recommended it, but I would vote to approve sending it to the legislature. Yeah, I really appreciate those who collaborated on the report as well, and we'll just point out it helps to highlight some essentially the status of different programs or features, as well as different recommendations or concern areas. So to me, it's a very informative document, very helpful in my understanding of the status of the 911 system, and very much appreciate your work as well as the others, and support sending it to the legislature.
Thank you, Commissioner.
As do I, and would just echo Commissioner Goman's comments, thanking you and the team for what you're doing for the report. It's well drafted, and I likewise vote to approve it. I don't think we need a decision here, so just with our thanks, Ms. Kirkland.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Proceeding number 21A-0141E, Mr. Eden.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Michael Eden with your advisory team. Before you this morning are two separate applications for rehearing, re-argument, or reconsideration, both referred to as RRRs, filed by Public Service Company of Colorado and the Colorado Independent Energy Association, or CIEA. Both of these RRRs seek modifications to decision number C25-0587I, which the Commission issued on August 12, 2025. And before I jump to the substance of the RRRs, I'll provide some more background. So back in July 15th of 2025, Public Service filed a motion to initiate Stage 2 price relief process, noting numerous new tariff actions and changes to federal tax policy. Under the requested process, after the Commission initiates the Stage 2 price relief mechanism, bidders are required to submit requests and documentation to the independent auditor, or IA, within 30 days. After the IA makes its verification, it would then submit all materials to the Commission. After a brief opportunity for the parties to comment on the IA's findings, the Commission would ultimately decide whether to approve the requested price relief. And so these price relief and the price relief process is for the bids arising from the 2021 ERP and the CEP. So in its August 12th decision, which is the target of the two RRRs, the Commission granted the company's motion to initiate Stage 2 with modifications. Under the Stage 2 process that the Commission initiated, developers can seek price relief based on changes of federal law. The Stage 2 relief can provide up to a 15% total price increase, inclusive of any prior approved increase in Stage 1. Noting all the uncertainties that have developed over the past year, the Commission in its August 12th decision acknowledged the need to be as fast and flexible as possible regarding Stage 2. While the August 12th decision acknowledged the 30-day deadline for bidders to submit documentation to the IA, the Commission raised concerns that this deadline may be too aggressive. The Commission noted that it will, quote, be flexible on the 30-day deadline as appropriate and requested, end quote. So turning now to the RRRs, in the company's RRR, it notes that the directive requiring all projects to submit requests to the IA within 30 days is in tension with other directives that requests for relief must be completed by December 31st, 2025, or 18 months prior to the project's commercial operation date, or COD, whichever is later. Public Service argues that because some developers do not yet know the final impact on tariffs, the 30-day deadline is impractical. Public Service proposes new language specifying that bidders must submit requests for relief to the IA by December 31st, 2025, or 18 months prior to the project's COD, whichever is later. CIEA's RRR similarly seeks clarification regarding how and when bidders can submit requests to the IA for Stage 2 price relief. CIEA first asks that bidders be allowed multiple opportunities to show the need for Stage 2 pricing relief. Rather than only giving developers one chance to request and document Stage 2 relief, CIEA argues developers should be allowed to present multiple requests to the IA as new changes in law affect their projects. Second, CIEA argues that bidders should be able to submit Stage 2 requests for relief up to 18 months before the respective project's COD. In this way, CIEA suggests modifying the company's RRR proposal to eliminate the reference to the December 31st, 2025 date. CIEA includes in its RRR limited modifications to the company's proposed language that incorporate CIEA's recommendations. I'll pause here for your discussion. Any questions, or I can provide a recommendation.
Yeah, if you can jump to a recommendation, that'd be great.
Sure. Advisors recommend granting the company's RRR with modifications and granting CIEA's RRR, starting with a deadline by which developers must submit requests for price relief to the IA. Advisors agree with CIEA that the deadline should simply be determined by the respective project's COD. Given the likelihood that federal changes in law will persist next year, we see little benefit to including the reference to December 31st, 2025. Advisors similarly agree with CIEA's request to allow developers to present multiple Stage 2 price relief requests provided that all such requests must be submitted timely and the total amount cannot exceed the 15% cap set forth in the CEP delivery decision. Allowing developers to submit price requests on a rolling basis allows developers to obtain more timely confirmation about price relief, as opposed to requiring developers to wait until they can submit one comprehensive request. To implement this approach, advisors suggest adopting CIA's proposal of quarterly filings. Public Service will make quarterly aggregated filings for any and all price relief requests that the IA has vetted the previous quarter. Such filings will trigger the review process and ultimately a commission decision on whether to approve the requested price increases consistent with the CEP delivery decision. Then finally, the commission should adopt the proposed language set forth in CIA's RRR, which incorporates these changes.
Commissioner Gellman,
I agree.
as do I. And that can be a ABC decision granting the RRR applications with the modifications you recommend. So thank you, Ms. Reed. Proceeding number 24AL-0377E, Public Service Company time of use rates. Mr. Davis.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Ron Davis of the Commission's advisory staff. This is the electric time of use rate proceeding for Public Service Company of Colorado. The Commission has already established by its decisions the redesigned time of use rates for residential and small commercial customers. When exactly these new time of use rates go into effect is the question before you this morning. For background, by decision number C-25-415 issued on June 3rd, the Commission set the new time of use rates for effect October 1st. This implementation date was already viewed by the Commission as delayed, but was based on Public Service's statements regarding the time necessary to implement the rate changes and the other timing-related concerns raised by Public Service and the intervening parties during the case. On August 25th, Public Service filed the motion that's before you now for a partial variance from the implementation deadline, seeking to extend it to November 1st. Public Service states that the 1-month extension is needed due to complications that arose in the company's completion of its new residential rate comparison tool. The company states to ensure accurate results of the rate comparison tool, thorough testing on the tool is necessary on a multitude of scenarios and test cases, where such work is unfortunately taking longer than originally anticipated. There is a risk that the company's final testing processes will not conclude until mid-September. Public Service insists that a quality customer experience with this residential rate comparison tool is necessary to support customer understanding of the rate options. Public Service also states that it will still be able to engage its customer education and communication efforts for at least a 30-day period before the effective date of the new rates. Response time to the motion ended on Monday and no responses were filed, so the motion can now be considered as unopposed. And the question before you is whether to move the effective date for the new time of use rates from October 1st to November 1st as requested by Public Service in the motion.
Do you have a recommendation for us?
Sure. The late filing of this motion raises concerns about the company's general compliance with the directives regarding customer notice and education. Nevertheless, the Commission has already found that a functioning and accurate online rate comparison tool is critical for the rollout of the new time of use rates. Therefore, it would be consistent with the Commission's previous findings to delay the implementation date for the new time of use rates to November 1st, when Public Service is able to put that tool in place. And that would mean granting the motion.
Commissioner Gellman.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Davis. I mean, it seems as though we have little choice once again with a delay here. But I would agree with your sentiments about being really quite unimpressed with the amount of effort that seems to be being put into this and the notice here. This was long known to be a requirement and is, in all honesty, not an incredibly complicated task. So very disappointing, really, to have a delay based on their lack of preparation for this, and really a very short notice that they were not able to meet the timeline. So with my sincere hope that this is the last we hear about delays in implementation here.
I just echo those comments and likewise support your recommendation. So thank you, Mr. Davis, and that can be an ABC decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding number 24A-0547E, and I guess that's it for this one. Public Service Company of Colorado Distribution System Plan. Mr. Mendelson, Ms. Dundas.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Mike Mendelson, joined by Lindsay Dundas, and something is going on with my video that's not working for some reason. So is it okay if I just present it orally?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So advisors have placed the DSP VPP proceeding on the agenda today so that you may have an opportunity to prompt parties to guide the Commission's interpretation of the relevant statute enacted through SB 24218. Such party guidance could be attached as part of their statements of position, which are due on the 26th of this month. As background, the statute requires the Commission to evaluate whether the projected distribution activities and corresponding budgets strategically benefit or advance greenhouse gas emission reductions, beneficial electrification, increased reliability, and increased resiliency. The statute also mentions other broad items, including meeting applicable targets, standards, plans, and regulations, and facilitating state energy policy goals relevant to public service. To help the Commission comprehend and measure the thresholds defined in the statute, that is, to strategically benefit or advance the expected benefits, advisors have developed a series of prompts for party consideration. I can offer them now if you'd like me to go ahead, or can pause for your discussion.
Yeah, why don't you offer the prompts? I have 2 or 3 very specific items, and Commissioner Gilman may have additional ones, but why don't you get through the prompts? I'll share my thoughts, then we'll hear Commissioner Gilman's thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so first, what metrics or criteria should the Commission consider when weighing the benefits or advancements related to greenhouse gas emission reductions, beneficial electrification improvements, increased reliability, increased resiliency, as contemplated in SB 24218? How should increased resiliency be quantified or best assessed by the Commission, and is it clearly distinct from reliability? How should increased reliability be evaluated? That is, specifically, what reliability metrics should be applied? Should the Commission apply reliability metrics across the system, the geographic area, such as the census block, or the distribution equipment, such as the feeder, being improved upon? Assuming a reliability metric is used as part of the GMAC framework, what size sample of reliability data do we need? And should any lag between investment and reliability assessment be implemented? And how can these metrics be reviewed on the timelines contemplated by SB 24218? Specifically, should the Commission take any specific procedural pathways to first establish the metrics and second, review the results? Finally, advisors suggest the Commission extend the SOPs from 30 to 35 pages to allow the parties sufficient space to respond to these prompts. I'll pause there.
Thanks, Mr. Mendelson, and thanks for putting this on the agenda. So I guess, Commissioner Gilman, I have 3 things that sort of get at what Mr. Mendelson raised, but may put a little more specifics on them, and that I'd like them to address in the SOPs. And the first one is reliability. And I just say, pursuant to Senate Bill 24-218, Section B1, the Commission must determine if projected distribution activities increase reliability or resiliency as the Commission approves GMAC recovery. The staff investigation into recent outages on the PSCO system found that from 2015 through 2024, the PSCO system shows an overall trend of increasing outage minutes and incidents as measured by SAIDI, SAIFI, CAIDI, KFI, Semi 6, CLE 12, and CLE 24 that are not entirely accounted for by major events. The staff report further finds that the existing QSP and other existing regulatory mechanisms set up to try and address these concerns may be inadequate. Based on the record in this case and shifting to proactive distribution planning, I'd like to ask the parties to comment in their SOPs about the appropriateness of using the SAIDI and other metrics to ensure that GMAC cost recovery is enabling increased reliability. More specifically, I'd like to know if the parties think it's a good idea to link the January 2027 and January 2028 GMAC cost recovery approval to the company's ability to approve these reliability metrics back to and perhaps beyond historical levels, and how best to accomplish this linkage. For example, under this approach, maybe 90 days before the 1126 and 1127 advice lettering filings for the following GMAC, we might ask the company to file an update on these reliability metrics. As such, the commission review of the advice letter filing could occur in light of these trends in reliability metrics. So I know you were digging into this stuff at hearing, and really curious to hear if you have your own thoughts or what you think of those thoughts. So Commissioner Gilman.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure I understood your language. So in some of what you're asking about like a subsequent DSP and GMAC proposal, or this one? Just help me better understand.
So as I understand the company's proposal, they're going to file advice letters, submit an advice letter filing in November of 2026 and
right. Okay.
27 to put in place the GMAC cost recovery in January of the following year. And what I'm suggesting is maybe 90 days before that, they update us on the exact metrics that staff looked at in its report. And as we consider those advice letter filings, we'll see if there's improvement in reliability or not.
Okay, understood. Sorry, I was a little thrown off.
Future
filing, like
in real time.
Future filings, we've got it. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable, helpful to understand the parties' perspectives on that. And probably Mr. Mendelson, maybe the one edit I would have on your items that you brought up was with regard to kind of having parties assess the different potential reliability metrics, including like the whole system and more geographically or equipment specific. Perhaps I would just rephrase that to have parties help us understand what they see as the pros and cons of different approaches. I think different approaches likely do have pros and cons. And so I don't want to be trying to have the parties pick one de facto method. I think the commission is certainly capable of assessing that information, but really understanding, I think what we're trying to get at is from the parties' perspectives, what would be pros and cons of these different approaches, especially more general versus more localized, et cetera. So just like that very small tweak, I think, in the phrasing there. But with that said, I'm good with all of your questions, Mr. Mendelson, as well as yours, Chairman.
All right, I have a couple more things to bounce off you,
Okay.
But if you want to go first, if
No,
you
go
have
ahead.
a question.
I don't have anything to add, so go
All right. The second one has to do with staff customer care and billing issues, and sort of the same suggestion here regarding customer satisfaction, average response time to customer calls, termination of customer calls, and billing complaints and time to resolve them. The staff report found that all three had deteriorated in the last few years. And I just say if the DSP approved here is to further goals of ensuring reliable and timely implementation of existing programs like the company's CHP, beneficial electrification, TAP, and DSM plans, as well as upgrading service for existing customers, then I think we need to see improved customer service and communication. So as part of this SOP request, I'd like to ask the parties to respond to the idea of linking distribution activities recovered through the GMAC to the customer's ability to reverse the trends in these customer service metrics and to improve them back towards and perhaps beyond historical levels. Like with the reliability metric proposal, the company might file updated customer service metrics 90 days before the advice letter filing, such that the commission's review of the GMAC filings might occur in light of those customer service trends. And I'd just say, given that the company has already presented evidence that these metrics may be improving, I'm hoping that this is not a heavy lift, although curious to see the SOPs. So I'll just stop there and see if you'd be okay with making that request on an SOP in the SOPs.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I would say like customer service, I'll be interested to hear from parties, could be considered elsewhere as well. So like what's the proper way to take kind of customer service information and integrate it into the larger processes here, whether it's through the GMAC or otherwise. And I'll say especially, especially relevant to the GMAC is how quickly the company is acting, how responsive they are with regard, especially to new service applications, upgraded service applications, which is kind of just a subset of customer service in general. So maybe just to point that out, that might put a finer point on some of the responses. Like there are probably a lot of different venues to deal with customer service issues. And so what's most appropriate here, that's most kind of pertinent to the goals, especially related to the underlying legislation here. I would just maybe add as commentary. I don't know if that makes it in as an actual edit, but just trying to kind of sort through and understand. Clearly, we've had issues in the past. There are some issues that might be super pertinent to this and others that may be, it's hard to understand if they're auto disconnecting people. Some of those people might have wanted new service. Some of them might have wanted something else. And so trying to kind of understand the different flavors of any customer service failings, but be interested to hear parties' thoughts on it in general.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Yes, likewise. And just want to say, just asking the question whether, given the struggles elsewhere trying to get some of this fixed, if linking it to the $1 billion plus cost recovery may be a way of getting more attention focused on it, and seems core to the statute. So, and I'm fine with asking the question about where best to do it. The last thing I had for you is the statute emphasizes goals of timely interconnecting new customers, promptly upgrading the service levels of existing customers, and supporting the increase in affordable and infill housing through prompt interconnection. While these goals, as applied to larger customers, may not be as objectively quantifiable as the smaller customer outage and customer service metrics I just mentioned, I have an idea that I raised in hearing that I'd like to have the parties address in their SOPs. More specifically, and like what we did in the ERP, where we engaged an independent engineer and an independent transmission consultant, I'd like to explore adding, say, $500,000 per year to the annual GMAC cost recovery mechanism, completely over and above whatever level is ultimately approved. And the goal would be to obtain additional third-party resources contracted for by the company, but dedicated to the PUC staff and perhaps other state entities to more proactively and systematically reach out and better understand whether larger and other customers are experiencing the same outage, customer service, and billing issues that we've seen in the staff metrics. So, and I think Mr. Hagland suggested that they could address it in the SOPs, but I just was thinking perhaps we could provide a little more detail. So any concerns or thoughts on that, Commissioner Gilman? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, once a month we gotta keep it on mute. Would it be segregated to just talking about reliability and customer service? Or I know an issue that has also come up is timeliness to interconnect and how that
All
process is
that,
going. Okay.
yeah, all that. I do it broad, just see what's going on with these customers.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to ask more information for us and we'll see what we get.
All right, thank you. I think that's all I had. Mr. Mendelson, does that give you what you need? Maybe more than what you need and wanted.
Yes, it does. And would you like this to be an ABC or TBC decision?
I'm okay with ABC. I think you have my comments. Commissioner Gilman, you okay with ABC, or do you want to say it?
I think ABC is fine.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Mr. Mendelson.
All right, thank you very much.
25R-0309G, mass-based greenhouse gas emission reduction targets for the clean heat plans. Mr. Davis.
Yes, so commissioners, a hearing is scheduled in this rulemaking next week on September 18th. And the case is on today's weekly meeting agenda for the purpose of providing guidance to potential participants in that hearing. As background, the Commission issued a notice of proposed rulemaking in mid-July to implement the legislative directive for the Commission to determine mass-based greenhouse gas emission reduction targets for the year 2035 for gas utility clean heat plans. The NOPR specifically put forward a clean heat target for 2035 of 41% that was consistent with a joint recommendation from the Colorado Energy Office and the Air Pollution Control Division of the Colorado Department of Health and Environment. That recommendation was put forward in an earlier petition for rulemaking. In addition to inviting comments on the proposed 41% target for 2035, the Commission also solicited input on the merits of only addressing the target for 2035 at this time. The Commission further sought comments on whether it should continue to limit to 5% the maximum amount of recovered methane resources that may be used to achieve the required emission reductions. Initial written comments have been filed by the gas utilities who file clean heat plans, CEO and CDPHE, and many others. Written reply comments have not yet been filed, but are requested by this Friday, September 12th. In their joint written comments, Sierra Club, the Southwest Energy Efficiency Project, and Western Resource Advocates asked the Commission to notify members of the public in advance what time a general comment portion will occur during the September 18th hearing. They say that this would facilitate effective public engagement and make efficient use of hearing time. They also asked the Commission to allow for post-hearing written comments to be filed by a specific deadline. As I said, many written comments from the general public have been submitted in this proceeding, in addition to the comments that were filed in accordance with the Commission's requests in the NOPR. So I'll turn it over to you now for a discussion on any specific guidance to the rulemaking participants regarding this upcoming hearing, and I can provide a recommendation on the requests related to comments from the general public and the post-hearing written comments.
Yeah, why don't you give your recommendation, then I'll turn it over to Commissioner Gilman, anywhere she'd like to go.
Okay. Regarding oral comments from the general public, I recommend that the Commission emphasize today that written comments from the public are welcome and are considered on an equivalent basis to oral comments offered at a hearing. The Commission should encourage members of the public seeking to offer oral comments to attend the hearing on September 28th in the morning. The hearing will conclude when all participants have had their opportunity to speak, so it's possible that the hearing could conclude in the morning and not go all day. I think the Commission should explain that even after the general public is given an opportunity to provide oral comments at the start of the hearing at 9 o'clock, there will be at least one discrete opportunity for members of the public to offer their oral comments before the hearing concludes. So put another way, a member of the public does not need to be in the Zoom session right at 9 a.m. to provide comments, but members of the public are welcome to join the Zoom session as it's ongoing. And while they may have to listen to some questions and discussion before receiving an opportunity to speak, they will get that opportunity as long as they stay present in the session. And then finally, the commission should explain that the hearing is not likely to last until 5 p.m., but the hearing will conclude when the participants in the Zoom session have concluded their discussion with the commissioners. If you agree with that guidance, we will work with our communications director and craft an email to be sent to the rulemaking registrants explaining all that. That does not need to go into a decision.
Just one clarification. I think you said September 28th, but I think the hearing's on September 18th. Is
I
that right?
misspoke if I said that. It's on the 18th. It's next week.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Gilman.
Yes, I agree. And I mean, I think it seems reasonable. It's not my job, it's the chairman's job, but you know, like if someone joins to try to relatively get to them as soon as we're able, not make them sit through 2 or 3 hours of discussion. So I think with that understanding and that intent, I certainly think it works.
I totally support that clarification. So I don't think there's going to be a written order. It's just going to be based on this discussion. Is that right, Mr. Davis?
Yes, that's right. And so the next item that was raised was post-hearing written comments. So I suggest that the commissioners today state an intention to allow for another round of written comments that can be filed after the hearing. And a deadline for those comments can be established at the close of the hearing. So this is just assurance to those interested in the opportunity to file something in writing after the hearing that they will be given that opportunity.
Commissioner Gilman?
I agree.
As do I.
And then finally, if there's anything else the commissioners want to discuss related to the hearing, now's the opportunity.
Commissioner Gilman?
I don't have anything else to add. Really looking forward to the opportunity to hear from the public as well as different commenters.
Me too. Looking forward to the hearing. And just wanted to ask, did you shave your beard, Mr. Davis?
I did. It's just a mustache. Yes. Taking things up today.
I just have to say I'm a little disoriented. Couldn't tell if it was the light or what. Anything else on this one, Mr. Davis?
No, and no decisions necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gilman, any final thoughts before we adjourn?
Nothing additional. Thanks.
Thanks. See you next time. We're adjourned.